The biggest difference between sales and marketing is marketeers try and attract like bees around a honeypot, but they have no control over who the bees are that show up. Like they're just saying all and everybody. Salespeople, by alternative, can choose their customers. They can be a lot more specific about to work. If you want a never-ending cycle of warm prospects to be able to work, you need to, one, be working a prospect list, and two, have marketing.
We have the pleasure of welcoming Phil Jones today to our interview series. I'm Sumita Mariam from the peopleHum team. Let's begin with just a quick introduction of peopleHum. peopleHum is an end-to-end one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives upwards of 200,000 visitors a year, and publish around 2 interviews with well-known names globally every month. And now for our guest, Phil Jones is the president and CEO of Phil & Jones International. He's a well-renowned keynote speaker and author of Teaching the World to Sell. His main focus areas are sales coaching, business networking, retail, and referral skills. He helps his audiences to learn new skills that empower confidence, overcome fears, and instantaneously impact their results. He's the author of multiple best-selling books and the youngest ever winner of the British Excellence in Sales and Marketing Award. Bringing with him a great experience, we are happy and honored to have someone of his stature on our interview series today. Welcome, Phil. We're thrilled to have you.
No, thank you so much for inviting me. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. It is our pleasure to have you. So the first question I had for you, Phil, was, can you tell us something about your journey that, brought you to being a sales coach?
Sure. I've been in business pretty much my whole entire life. So I started with my first business when I was 14 years of age. Started knocking on the doors of my neighbors and asking them quite politely whether they would be interested in having their cars washed. Now, by the age of 15, my small car cleaning business meant that I was making more money than the majority of my school teachers, and had an army of people in the year below washing cars and a proper book of customers that we would take care of. Mm-hmm. I built a lot of entrepreneurial businesses through my teens. And at the age of 18, then became the youngest ever sales manager for one of the large department store retail groups here in the UK. Mm-hmm. Went from there, became a senior sales manager and sales training consultant for a large furniture retail business in the United Kingdom. And then went from there to work with 2 Premier League soccer clubs, helping build their retail organization. Mm-hmm. From there, I became a business partner with a large property business. And we built a business that turned over £240 million at its peak. And that takes us through to about 2008. In 2008, we brought that business down based on the last recession. And I spent a chunk of my time helping small independent business owners look to see what they could do to be able to navigate change next. And I was doing that while I would figure out what I wanted to do next. And now we're here in, 2020? So almost like 12, 13 years on. And I'm still figuring out what I want to do next. But since that point to now, I've worked with over 800 different industries, helping them navigate how they can achieve better sales results without being so salesy. And that's meant speaking on the platform over 2,500 times in 57 different countries, writing 7 books, and to date have trained over 2 million people. So that's been the kind of potted history of my journey to date.
That's an interesting journey. And, having that thought inside you, what's next? I don't know about it. That's the real surprise.
Well, I think we're all making it up a little as we go along, right? I'm on a continued quest for better. I love helping people, love looking to be able to overcome obstacles and challenges that stand in the way. But I don't have like a 5-year vision or a 10-year plan that way around. I just have, hey, how do I keep improving?
That makes a lot of sense. And also, coming to the current situation, what advice would you give the sales professionals of today, who have to keep selling non-essential services at this current, situation of the pandemic?
Okay, it's a very fair question. And I just want to play with those words that you said there in terms of non-essential. And services raise in level of essentialness depending upon the other person's independent individual needs. Mm-hmm. And it may well be that the supply of, say, for example, batteries is a non-essential service. However, if my mouse isn't working today and I need my mouse to be able to contact to the other side of the world, then guess what? Batteries all of a sudden become essential. So what is necessary for sales professionals during this time period is to have huge amounts of empathy. I think they've always needed it, but right now lacking in empathy is going to be a giant cost to anybody who's a sales professional. Without that, you're going to lose. And the ability to be able to truly understand the other person's point of view, truly understand the other person's circumstances. See, selling should be easy when value is present in abundance. And if value is present in abundance and your thing is truly helping the other person in their current circumstances, then what you have is something that isn't you forcing it on them. It's something that's actually genuinely a gift. And that's what we should always be looking at of our products and services is where is the gift in this thing to the other person? The one thing that I would say that makes now a very different environment to sell in than maybe 6 months ago is that now you've got to be thinking about things that would help people now. Not things that might help somebody over the next 3 to 5 years, not something that might be, a good long-term solution for them, but something that's going to help them right now.
Yeah.
And if I'm to try and explain this kind of simply, is if somebody's drowning in water, please don't try to sell them swimming lessons. If somebody is drowning in water, throw them a rope, get them out the water, put a towel around them, and only once they're safely on land can we teach them how to prevent this from happening next time.
Yeah.
And I'd take that metaphor and apply that to your sales help, is to say, what do you have that could help people now? And then with that being taken care of, even if it might be a smaller transaction, you'll win trust, you'll win loyalty, you'll win the relationship that then could go on for you winning the next business later down the tracks.
That's a great, that's a great thought process to it. And that was a beautiful answer. So, shifting our focus to something else, what are some of the techniques that a sales professional can adopt to build a robust leads pipeline?
Okay. So this is about how they can have a never-ending supply of prospects so that they always have good people to be able to speak to. And lead generation is a daily skill for anybody who's in a sales environment. It's not something that you do once and then you work those leads. You should always be looking to generate more leads for your business. And leads are everywhere to a point that I think that many organizations miss the opportunities that are all around us, right? I could go for a walk and I could walk past, 3 vans with signage on them. I could see 10 things pop up on my phone. I could see emails come into my inbox from people that I've meaning to connect with that could help introduce me to others, etc. Is the potential to develop new businesses is all the way around us. What you should have, though, if you want to be able to adopt a mindset of having a never-ending supply of people to speak to, is you really need to have clarity over 2 very simple questions. Question 1 is, who are the people that you help? See, a mistake many people think is that they want to deal with everybody. Whereas really you want to have complete clarity over saying, these are my people. And then anytime you spot environments where those people show up, here's where I can step into the light. So there's question 1. Question 2 is, what are the problems that I solve for them? You have clarity over that, then anytime that opportunity marries together, you should be in a very, very, very strong position to be able to say, hey, I'm the right person. The biggest difference between sales and marketing is marketeers try and attract like bees around a honeypot, but they have no control over who the bees are that show up. Like they're just saying all and everybody. Salespeople, by alternative, can choose their customers. They can be a lot more specific about to work. If you want a never-ending cycle of warm prospects to be able to work, you need to 1, be working a prospect list, and 2, have marketing funnels and systems that are permanently working in the background that are creating new opportunities, but only working a certain number of prospects at a time. A piece of advice that I share often when trying to help people to work a pipeline is I teach them to be what I call devilishly productive. And being devilishly productive means I'm working no more than 18 prospects at a time. Through my experience, I've learned that working 18 prospects is kind of the magic number of prospects to be able to work. More than that, you're really working leads. Less than that, you're going to go hungry. But 18 is the magic number. Making that magic number and turning it into devilishly productive is I would split your prospects into 3 different user groups. 6 in one, 6 in another, and 6 in the next. That's why I call it devilishly productive, because it's like 666. And I have 6 that would be kind of my low-hanging fruit, my kind of transactional type pieces of business. 6 that would fall into my perfect target market customer, kind of the sweet spot that I'm looking for, and then 6 that would fall into my big fish dream opportunities up there. And I'd always be working 6 in each category. I'd want software to be able to back that up. I'd want systems to be able to then keep tracking of those things. But 6 in the low hanging fruit, 6 in core business, 6 in dream client. And I'd always want to know, what is my next play? What is the next thing that I'm doing to be able to work that person through to the next decision? And if I don't have a next play, they're not on the list. If they say yes, please, they're not on the list. If they say no, thank you, they're not on the list. And I'm just forever bringing people into play, moving people into the next thing. And I think that keeps it fun. It gives you a robust pipeline, helps you understand and predict the future. You work in some short term that you can get quick decisions on, some mid-term, and some big fish, knowing that you're not getting stuck with a dry pipeline too.
That's a great answer. I mean, you've helped. I love how wonderfully framed that answer was. And, going to our next question. So I saw that in your profile, it was there. You increase the confidence of an individual by teaching new skills. So can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, there is so big of an answer that could be given to this. There are a variety of different reasons that people lack confidence. One of the biggest reasons that people lack confidence is because they lack competence. One of the reasons they lack competence is because they don't know precisely or perhaps even exactly what they should be doing. So 3 of my books, one is exactly what to say, the other is exactly how to sell, the other is exactly where to start. Having precise leadership that says, these are the steps to jump through, here is a right way of being able to do things, gives people confidence because they have a framework to be able to lean on. That framework provides them some safety and structure that they can then apply themselves to. If they're feeling that they have to operate entirely in the gray area, that's where they start to lack confidence. Also, what we will typically look to be able to do is teach people to disarm potential points of friction ahead of time, disarm potential objections ahead of time. So if I can teach people to qualify with better questions, then when they get to the point of recommending their product or service, they should be able to do so with more confidence because they're not guessing, they're not pitching, they're not hoping or praying that somebody's going to like it. There's a medical analogy that says prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. The same thing is true in the sales process, is that you should never, ever, 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 ever invite somebody to be able to move forward with your offer unless you can say these words first. And the words you should look to say first are the words because of the fact that you said. See, because of the fact that you said blank, blank, and blank, it's for those reasons my recommendation is blank. Now, all of a sudden, what we're doing is that we are earning the right to make a recommendation, as opposed to embellishing a product or service with features and benefits and hoping something might stick.
So, how would you go about, improving the referral skills for a sales professional? How would you advise them to do that?
Okay, so referral skills is a giant area. And there are 3 big reasons that people don't ask for referrals. And the biggest one of those is they just don't ask, period. Right? I mean, finish this sentence for me. If you do not ask, you don't get, right? We know that to be true. So just asking for referrals is going to create an increased output in referral skills. And I think that's the biggest missing piece in referrals. Like asking badly will get a better result than not asking at all. And if it's not that the fact that they just need to know how to be able to ask, is they need to know what the timing is of being able to ask as well. So there's when to ask and how to ask are the 2 missing pieces that often sit if you've decided you are going to ask. The when is a hard question because there are actually hundreds of times you could ask somebody for a referral. When you invite them to buy and they say yes, when you invite them to buy and they say no, when you invite them to be able to have your product installed once it's delivered upon its promise, once you fixed a problem for them at some point in the process, once they've been with you for 5 years. Like all these different moments provide a referable opportunity. Because there's so many, the typical result that people have is they have what I call the shoulda, woulda, coulda moments. The driving away from an appointment, hanging up the phone, leaving a meeting and thinking shoulda, woulda, coulda, asked for that referral. And you can't go back to that moment once that moment has passed. So what you need to realize is there is a singular right time to ask for a referral. And the singular right time is when the other person is happy. When the other person is happy, they typically say something, a sequence of words they say back. And the sequence of words they say back when they're happy is the words, thank you. When they say thank you to you, you don't think, aha, pat yourself on the back, you've done a wonderful job. When they say thank you to you, understand what thank you really means. When somebody says thank you to you, it's because they're feeling indebted. It's because they feel like they owe you. When they feel indebted, they say thank you. They repay the debt with that thanks. That's what the gratitude does. So the best time to ask somebody for something extra is at the point when they feel indebted. So you listen to the thank yous. When they say thank you, you think, aha, that means they feel indebted. Here is my time to ask.
Yeah.
So we've got, you don't ask, you don't get. We know we need to ask. We now know when to ask. What we now need to deal with is how to ask. And the how is well, it's a myriad of different ways as well. But what I'm going to teach you all right now is a set of what I call my magic words. If you think about my most famous piece of work is a book called Exactly What to Say. It's a book full of words that talk straight towards the subconscious brain. These are words that influence people to take action, that have the power to act on impulse, to have people not overly process the decision that then needs to follow. So I'm going to share with you a set of words you can use to get just about anybody to agree to just about anything ahead of time. So there's a set of words you can use to get just about anybody to agree to just about anything at any time. And for this, I need you to just help role play something with me. So could you do me a small favor?
Yeah, please tell me.
There's the words. So there's a set of words you can use to get just about anybody to agree to just about anything. I just asked, could you do me a small favor? You said yes in the other direction almost unanimously.
Yeah.
So how do we play that same sequence of words out in a referral scenario? You wait for the other person to say thank you. When they say thank you, you think, aha, now's my time to ask. At the point of asking, you say, you couldn't do me a small favor, could you? Every reasonable human being on the planet says, yes, sure, what is it?
Yeah.
Now what you've got is this open window that you can insert your referral request in. I have a full script that can play out on from there. It exists inside the book. But hopefully that what you're thinking about is that if you're a professional in these kind of environments, then the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is in the moment when you're saying it. So what we need to be is ready, ready, ready for when these moments show up so that you think, aha, I've got this. I'm ready to be able to respond. And the biggest difference that I've seen between people who do good and people who do awesome is the ones that do awesome. They know exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to make it count. They know how to make more of their conversations count.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, that's such an eye opener to a lot of viewers out there. Thank you for that. And also, Phil, if you could tell us, do you think this time of the pandemic when we're all locked inside is the right time, or is it is a good time for networking online to make new connections?
I think every time is a good time to make new connections. I think every time is a good time to be able to expand your network with more of the right the right people. What I would also give as an added warning right now is it's also a bad time to network online. It's also a bad time to be able to try and grow your network. It's yes and it's both. I think in times of crisis, then what you need is you need people around you that can help you navigate in the direction that you want to be able to go. Now, that might be that you already have your tribe of people. You're already remarkably well represented with the people that are in your existing network, and it's time to get close. It's time to get insular. It's time to do today's work today and not worry about any external noise coming into it. It might also be that right now that you realize you need to be going in a new direction, and your tribe of people around you aren't necessarily equipped or experienced or full of the right resources to allow you to be able to go in that new direction. And there you need to have the strength of internal leadership to say, okay, I've got missing people in my world. I need to go and recruit my squad to help me navigate this next chapter of my life. And I'm going to go network and I'm going to go find those people.
Yeah.
The other thing that online networking can do during times like right now is it can provide sounding boards, and it can provide stress relief for you having your questions answered by other professionals that can help. And if you don't have that sounding board of educated professionals that you can lean on, you end up bringing those questions to your dining room table. You end up bringing those questions to weekend family time or wherever it might be. And you end up asking the right question to the wrong person, making that person feel like they should give you advice, and then getting stupid advice from somebody that was never qualified to be able to give it.
Yeah.
So I think in times of crisis, be a lot more purposeful with how you spend your time, who you're looking for, and what roles do people play in your life. And by which I mean, I've got a lot of people in my life that I love and I enjoy hanging out with and I love being in conversation with, but I would never speak about business with.
Yeah.
Because what I'll end up is getting stupid advice from somebody who's never been either where I'm going or have any understanding of what it's like to be in my shoes. So it's just selective on the advice and the help that you ask for.
Yeah, I think, coming to understand that fine line of separation is where you succeed. So that was a great answer. Thank you for that. And,
Pleasure.
Phil, just to wrap up the whole interview, if you have any last sound bites that you would like to leave our audience.
I mean, I could talk on all of this stuff forever and a day. So what would I like to leave the audience? I'm going to throw the question back to you right now and say, if there was one thing that you think your audience participants are struggling with more than most right now, what would that one thing be? And then I'll give something back towards that scenario.
I think everyone right now is trying so hard to be productive. So with the interview series, we are trying to, enrich the knowledge and trying to make them improve themselves and coming out of this a better self.
Okay, here is a productivity tip. And it's going to sound a little counterintuitive. What I'd encourage everybody to do is to write a list that they've probably never written before. Almost everybody on the planet has a to-do list, right? A to-do list full of things that they need to get done. The trouble with a to-do list for almost everybody I've ever met is you've never finished it.
Yeah.
There's always more things that are left to do. So it actually creates a nervous anxiety in you to keep focusing your effort on this incomplete list. Not only this, the external pressures that come from outside that says you always need to be doing more, you've never done enough, you're such a failure being compared to other people, yada, 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 right? Like that is a very real thing. The list that I'd like more people to write is a list that I call your done it list. Is go back to a point in life, for like as far back as you can remember, whether it's tying your shoelaces, whether it's completing your 10-meter swimming badge, whether it's getting a badge on your arm at Boy Scouts, or learning to cook a meal, or whatever it might be, as far back as your early memory of a sense of achievement, and then write a list of all the things that you've ever achieved in your life that were meaningful. And what I'd love more people to be able to realize is that they're already a proven success story. They've already overcome giant milestones of adversity. They've already achieved far more than a point in their life ever told them that they could. And once more people realize that they're a proven success story, they've overcome adversity in abundance. Any hurdles that are in front of them right now, they feel more capable of being able to overcome. And it will fuel their productivity as opposed to drive fear into their productivity, which is what many other things can tend to do.
Well, thank you for that last magical dose of positivity. That was wonderful. And Phil, I had a wonderful time talking to you. And, this last half an hour was truly enriching experience for me. And I'm sure it'll be for our audience also. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. You were
My pleasure.
You were really energetic during the process, and have a healthy and safe time ahead of you.
Likewise, you stay safe out there as well. Keep being brilliant. Love to your family. Wish you all the success in the world that you're prepared to work for. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.